In the treatment part of the fracture both bone leg, there are two methods. One is the non-operative and other is the operative. So in the non-operative, we apply the POP cast above knee. To in this we have to see the acceptable reduction, fracture reduction, and time to non-union, time to union, and tibial stress fracture and fibula stress fracture. In operative, we use intramedullary nail, flexible nail, external fixation, plate and screw, proximal tibia fracture, distal fracture, tibia fracture with intact fibula and fissure. So first of all, conservative treatment, that is non-operative. In with this we use POP cast first of all, and that is above knee, so that in this we see the fracture reduction followed by the application of the long cast with progressive weight bearing can be used for isolated closed low allergy fracture with minimum displacement of the communication. Cast with the knee in 0 to 15 degree of the flexion to allow for the weight bearing with crutches as soon as tolerated by the patient with advancement to the full weight bearing by the second to fourth. After 3 to 6 weeks, the long cast may be exchanged for a patella tibial bearing patella tibial bearing cast. This is the patella tibial bearing cast. Union rate as high as 97% are reported. Although with the delayed weight bearing related to the delayed union or the non-union, the major limitation seen is the hindfoot stiffness. Then acceptable fracture reduction, that is less than 5 degree of varus angulation is recommended. Less than 10 degree of the anterior-posterior angulation is recommended. Less than 10 degree of the rotational deformity is recommended. Less than 1 centimeter of shortening, that is 5 mm of the distraction, may delay the healing 8 to 12 months. More than 50% of the cortical contact is recommended. So we have to see length maintenance, alignment, rotation correction, and the apposition. Time to union, the average time is 6 to 4 weeks. This is highly variable depending on the fracture pattern and the soft tissue injury. Then delayed union is defined as the more than 20 weeks. Non-union, this occurs when the clinical and radiological sign demonstrate that the potential for the union is lost. So including sclerotic ends at the fracture site on the radiology and the periosteal persistent gap unchanged for several weeks. Historically, non-union has also been defined as the lack of the healing 9 months after the fracture, but more accurately as no change in the radiological appearance on successive radiographs. Tibial stress fracture, a short leg cast may be necessary with partial weight bearing ambulation. This is the short leg cast. Because in this there is minimal displacement, so in tibial stress fracture this cast is given. In fibula shaft fracture, the treatment consists of weight bearing as tolerated. Then operative. In operative, we do intramedullary nailing. This may be log nail or non-log nail. Intramedullary advantage of this is the preservation of the periosteal blood supply and limited soft tissue damage. Then biomechanical advantage of the being able to control the alignment, translation, and rotation. It is therefore recommended for most fracture patterns. Log nail, this provides rotational control. It is effective in preventing shortening in comminuted fractures and those with the significant bone loss. Interlocking screws can be removed at a later time to dynamize the fracture if needed for the healing. Non-log nail, this allows impaction at the fracture site with weight bearing, but it is difficult to control the rotation, so non-log nails are rarely used. Ream nail, this is indicated for the most closed and the open fractures. It allows the excellent intramedullary splinting of the fracture and use of the larger diameter, allowing for larger locking bolts. Stronger nail to resist bending force. Benefit of the reaming include enhanced periosteal blood supply. Insertion of the intramedullary may be via supra or infrapatellar portal. Recent studies suggest that suprapatellar nailing may reduce the knee pain based on visual analog scores, improves the sagittal angle and decrease fluoroscopy. Unreamed nail, this is thought to preserve the intramedullary blood supply in open fractures where periosteal blood supply has been destroyed. Flexible nail or Ender's nail or rush rods, the multiple curved intramedullary pins exert a spring force to resist the angulation and the rotation with minimum damage to the medullary circulation. These are rarely used in the United States because of predominance of unstable fracture pattern and success with interlocking nails. These are currently only recommended in children or adolescents with open physis and in adults with exceptionally narrow canals. So this is the picture showing the radiograph of flexible nail and this is Anderson nail. Then external fixation in case of the open fracture, this is type 3 B fracture. In this, external fixation has been done with skin flap. So this is the aligned picture of the fracture. So primarily used in treat severe open fractures. It can also be indicated in closed fractures complicated by the compartment syndrome, concomitant head injury or the burns. Union rates up to 90% with an average of 3 to 6 months to union. The incidence of pin tract infection is 10 to 15%. Plates and screw, these are generally reserved for the fracture extending into the metaphyseal or the epiphyseal. Reported success rate is as high as 97%. Complication rate of infection, wound breakdown and malunion or non-union increase with the high energy injuries pattern. So these are the plates for the proximal and distal part. So proximal tibial fracture, these account for 7%. These fractures are notoriously difficult to nail because they frequently become malaligned. The commonest deformity being valgus and apex anterior angulation. So these are treated by the locking plates, proximal locking plates. Next, distal tibial fracture, often with associated intra-articular extension. The risk of for malalignment also exists with the use of an intramedullary nail. Fibula plating or use of blocking screws may help to prevent the malalignment. Use of a percutaneously inserted plates has been described. So this is the distal fracture fixed with the distal plates. This is the radiograph fracture both bone of the distal portion fixed with the distal locking plates. Tibia fracture with an intact fibula. If tibia fracture is non-displaced, treatment consists of leg casting with early weight bearing. Close observation is indicated to recognized any varus tendency. Some authors recommend intramedial nailing even if the tibial fracture is non-displaced. A potential risk of the varus marg union exists 25%, particularly in patients more than 20 years. Then, in case of compartment syndrome, we do the fasciotomy. In this, longitudinal incision is given in the skin and the fascia to release the pressure. This is the anterior compartment fasciotomy. This is the lateral compartment fasciotomy. We can do fasciotomy up to here, up to the deep posterior compartment, so that release the pressure on the posterior tibial vessels. So that is the algorithm of the treatment. Fracture of the both bone leg, closed, open. In undisplaced, we apply the POP cast, then PTB cast for 6 weeks. POP cast is for the 4 weeks. Then in displaced stable and unstable. In stable, we do the closed reduction. If it is satisfactory, then POP for the 4 weeks, then maintain position for the 4 weeks, continue POP for 12 weeks, PTB for the next 4 weeks. In displaced, when it displaces, then closed or open nailing. If not satisfactory, then closed nailing, or then if unstable, then treatment option is closed nailing. In open fracture, grade 1 wound debridement, POP cast with dressing through the wound through a window in the cast. Then grade 2 wound debridement plus external fixator, change to the POP cast once the wound has been healed. Grade 3 external fixator plus early bone grafting. Then comes the complication of the both bone leg fracture. First is the malunion, non-union, second non-union, third infection, then soft tissue loss, then knee and ankle stiffness, then knee pain, then hardware breakage. In the malunion, this include any deformity outside the acceptable range and seen with the non-operative treatment and metaphyseal fracture. In non-union, this is associated with high velocity injuries, open fracture, infection, intact fibula, inadequate fixation, and initial fracture displacement. Infection most common following open fracture. Soft tissue loss, delaying wound coverage for greater than 7 to 10 days in open fracture has been associated with the higher rates of the infection. Local rotation flap or free flap may be needed for adequate coverage. Knee and ankle stiffness may occur with non-operative care. Knee pain, this is most common complication associated with the intramedullary tibial nailing. Hardware breakage, nail and locking screw breakage rates depend on the size of the nail used and the type of the metal from which it is made. Larger rimmed nail have a larger cross section, cross screws. So the incidence of the nail and screw breakage is greater with the unrimmed nail than that use smaller diameter locking screws. Sorry. Then thermal necrosis of the tibial diaphysis. This is the theoretical complication following the reaming and drilling of the bone. Complex regional pain syndrome associated with the prolonged cast immobilization. It is characterized by the initial pain and the swelling followed by atrophy of the limb. Radiographic signs are spotty demineralization of the foot and distal tibia and equinus varus ankle. It is treated by the elastic compression, stocking, weight bearing, sympathetic block, and foot orthosis accompanied by aggressive physical therapy. Compartment syndrome, as seen in the earlier discussion for the treatment, involvement of the anterior compartment is most common. Highest pressure occur at the time of open or the closed reduction. It may require fasciotomy. Muscle death occur after 6 to 8 hours. Deep posterior compartment syndrome may be missed because of uninvolved overlying superficial compartment and result in claw foot. There may be foot drop in case of injury to the nerve, common peroneal nerve. That is the neurovascular injury. Vascular compromise is uncommon except with the high velocity. Markedly displaced, often open fracture. It most commonly occurs as the anterior tibial artery traverses the anterosseous membrane of the proximal leg. It may require saphenous vein interposition graft. The common peroneal nerve is vulnerable to the direct injuries to the proximal fibula as well as fracture with significant varus angulation. Overzealous traction can result in the distraction, injury to the nerve, and inadequate cast molding padding may result in neuropraxia. Fat embolism occur when fat globules leak in the blood system and accumulate to a point where they block the blood flow. This condition presents with anemia, fever, tachypnea, obtunded reflexes, mental confusion, coma, and petechial rash. Fat embolism syndrome can eventually cause oxygen damage, inflammation, and nerve damage. Thank you.